Hello and welcome everybody to the long-awaited thoughts and opinions video on the downfall of Rooster Teeth. Now, I know I probably shouldn't say it as downfall, more of like just the closure of Rooster Teeth, but honestly, if you really think about it, this was a downfall of like one we should have never seen. Because Rooster Teeth was some of the most powerhouse giants of the entertainment companies out there. I'm going scriptless here, so you're going to have to bear with me on it. But when it came to the entertainment franchise, Rooster Teeth was one of the best. They had for years released banger after banger after banger, and they kind of seemed like they were unstoppable. Yeah, they had a flop here or there, you know. I can't even remember what the name of the movie that they were so proud of that had like Michael and Bernie and Gavin in it with a mullet of all things. God, it was like that weird like movie of theirs. Anyways, they even when they had flops, they were still really good, even kind of entertaining, kind of to say. So to see them closing the doors because Warner Brothers is losing too much money because of them, you wouldn't expect it, and you really wouldn't think that's something you would hear on the news. And now, granted, I am about a month, 2 months late making this video. I know I promised this a while ago. It was really a poll, and then I guess a couple people voted that yes, they wanted this video, so here it is. Better late than never, I guess. So it's a thoughts and opinions video, so I'm just going to go ahead and give my thoughts of what I think. Maybe go into a little nostalgia here. I had a script and everything wrote out. It was really good, and then I decided that I really don't think this is something that should go scripted. This is something that should probably just kind of like be from the heart, since I was a huge fan of Rooster Teeth since 2008. Yeah, about 2008, because I was about 12 years old when I started watching Rooster Teeth. And I was watching them kind of a little bit back then before that, like early 2006, right as YouTube was getting around. But I didn't see them from YouTube, actually, kind of a different website. Now, I'm going to I'm going to age myself with this one, but does anyone remember a company called funnyjunk.com? Like, does anyone remember that website? Is it just me? Am I the only one that remembers that site? For those who don't know, funnyjunk.com was a site kind of like iFunny today. It was, you could comment on pictures, you could upload pictures, GIFs, videos, like short videos, like a couple minutes long. And that's how I got introduced to Red versus Blue, actually. Was about 2005, 2004. Me and my sister were going through iFunny. We were watching, like, looking at squirrel pictures where, you know, they had the caption of the squirrel doing something. It was some dumb caption or a dumb, really grainy GIF of something. And me and my sister, you know, all laughing about it. It's so super funny. And then we came across Red versus Blue, episode 1, part 1. Then part 2, then part 3, then part 4. Until, you know, it was like, because they could only be a couple minutes long, each episode, like each full episode of Red versus Blue was cut up into parts. And so I got all the way through season 1 of Red versus Blue in parts, in like 2-minute increments. And I got tired of having to go to iFunny, or not iFunny, god dang. I got tired of going to funnyjunk.com to sit there and get my Rooster Teeth fixed. So I looked up the company, went to their website, and I saved it, and I would start going to their website. I didn't know anything about YouTube until about 2009, say. Around 2009 is right around the time I started getting into YouTube, and then I was like, oh, I wonder if this funny company that I watch has Red versus Blue on YouTube. You know, I didn't know anything about DMCA. You know, I was only 13 at the time. I didn't know anything about DMCA. I didn't know about copyright or you know, trademark violations. You know, I didn't know that. So I was like, oh, maybe these funny guys are on here. Maybe people are uploading their stuff on here too. And sure enough, I found Rooster Teeth on YouTube. And I didn't have an account, So what I ended up having to do, I wrote it down. I had a sticky note stuck to the side of my wall right next to my computer where it's set. And every day I wanted to go watch Red versus Blue, I would go to youtube.com/RoosterTeeth. And then I would sit there and go to their playlist area, and I would go to Red versus Blue. I'd go and I'd search it up. And that's how I started. That's how I became a fan, was through a stupid funny joke website. That's how I became a fan, was through an indirect way. And around 2011, November, when I got my YouTube channel started, the first company or YouTube content creators I subscribed to was RoosterTeeth. And then I sat there and I started commenting. I went back on the old ones, and I was like, all these cool comments, or like these funny comments I had, I went back and I commented, and I was like, I went all the way back to the beginning. And I was sharing, I was contributing to the conversations. And then I saw a company called Achievement Hunter, achievements hunting. And I was like, cool. He's like, how to get the achievement. And I found them kind of accidentally, because I sat there and it was in their thumbnails, and they had, or it was like that end slate where they were showing like a preview, like some related type content, and it was how to get an achievement in a game that I was actually playing in. I was like, oh, I want to get the achievement too, since they on this. And I was like, so what company is this? And I looked, and there was Achievement Hunter right there. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hide behind the mic and hide my face. It's just, it's pointing this way, so I'm trying to just stay in front of it. But I found Achievement Hunter because of RoosterTeeth. And then I was like, this, and I didn't realize it was Jack and Jeff. I thought it was Jack and Jack. And so I was like, two people named Jack, that's weird. And then a couple of videos later, it was like Jack and Jeff, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like JEFF and JACK, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then I think it was like 2 years later, I learned it was GEOFF. Which is stupid, but kind of the truth is I was really slow back then. Kind of am still today, but I was a lot slower back then to learn new things. And I kind of just indirectly got really fixated on the company because they were really funny, and you could tell there was passion. You could tell that everything was done because they loved what they did. RoosterTeeth loved what they did, and you could feel it in every episode. You knew it. You could feel it. You could hear it. You could, everything about it. You could tell there was love and passion. And then around 2013 was the golden age for Achievement Hunter, and even RoosterTeeth. RoosterTeeth actually started hitting really big strides in 2013. Like, they had some really good bangers come out 2013, 2014. I would say that's definitely the golden age of RoosterTeeth. And Achievement Hunter was definitely those 2 years. Maybe 2012, they started up on a hill. They started climbing that hill, and they started like just really putting out good things. But 13 and 14 was really where they shined. And now for the downfall part, a lot of people do not realize that Achievement Hunter went so far politically woke that it was ridiculous how different the content felt. It felt like everything they made had to include something political. Every time they made anything, they had to include their beliefs in something. And it kind of seemed like a walk away from what I joined the community for. I didn't leave. Heaven no, I didn't leave. But I kind of felt pushback, because especially since they were against my guy, they hated my guy, and I don't care if they hated my guy. I'm trying not to name names, not trying to be political, it is what it is. But I didn't care. That was their opinion. They have the right to their opinion. I don't have the right or the authority to tell them what they can and can't think. So if they wanted to hate him, that's more power to them. Hate them if you want, or hate him if you want, but at least understand that you have other people. I don't know if that, my screen turned off. I don't know what that did, But just in case, you know, they're allowed to hate who they want to hate. I'm not going to tell them they can't. But understand that as content creators, you're going to have people from all over the world that watch you. You're going to have people of different ethnicities, different faiths. You're going to have people of different political ideologies. You know, they're going to watch you because when you make content that you love and it's funny, you know, really funny, you know, and you make all this content, yeah, you're going to have these people all watching you. And then to sit there and say, oh, but if you support that guy, you're just as bad. You're a bad person. You're the devil. You suck. You're a misogynist. You're racist. You're this, you're that, blah, blah, blah. You're applying labels to people you've never even met. You know, and I always wanted to go to an RTX. I always wanted to go to an Extra Life kind of thing where they did like at PAX or whatever. I wanted to go see these guys so bad. I wanted to go to Texas. I wanted to move to Texas, go to Austin. I wanted to be an achievement hunter. I was going to middle college. And for those that don't know, maybe if you aren't that far enough in high school, or maybe if you're out of high school and they just never offered it to you, middle college is a program that your high school can do with a partnering college. And in my case, it was OTC and Ozark Technical Community College. And I was going to go for diesel mechanics repair because I like working on cars. So it's like, yeah, cool, awesome. I get to work on diesels. Sure. You know, let's go. And then what I didn't know is they show you a bunch of clips and they're like, you know, you have to rate on a scale of 1 to 5 each of these clips. And we're going to show you 5 of each different professions. And you got to rate all 5 of those 1 to 5. And I scored the highest in diesel mechanics, photography, film media production, and construction. Ironically, because I was doing construction at the time. Of course, I was going to like it. And so they said, you know, we're only allowing your school to do diesel mechanic repair, but if you want, we can move you over to film media. And I was like, this is perfect because I can now pursue my career, my dream career of learning media to photo edit videos, and do all this stuff and sound design. And that's one step closer I can be to becoming an achievement hunter. You know, I can be part of the main 6. You know, I can be the backup. I could be the spare. I could be their editor, you know. All these things were going in my head. I was like, yes, I want to dedicate my life to that. Plus, I also just thought editing videos and stuff was fun. You know, I'm kind of jaded. Yeah, I really just liked editing videos, and that was kind of one of the big contributing factors. But yeah, it was... that offer really like made my heart jump because I was like, this is a chance that I might have to go do this. If I can convince my parents to get out of freaking Missouri and we can go to Texas, I can have a chance. This might be it. This is the start. And so I passed the classes with flying colors, and, you know, we actually had an active shooter going on at Drury University, which is right next to us. And while everyone was hiding, we were in the film studio where, like, you can make mock-up news broadcasts. And I was telling everybody, what the frick are we doing hiding? Grab some cameras and let's go report this. And they're like, are you nuts? I said, well, the worst thing he's going to do is shoot at us. You know, this is, you know, how about extra credit? You know, can we sit there and report this for extra credit? And the teacher's like, absolutely not. You're not going out there with a gunman to sit there and try to get an interview. And I was like, but can you imagine, though, if I got an interview with the crazed gunman? Needless to say, I had a blast in the class, and I really did think it was my start to going to Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter. And then I kind of gave up on it after college, or after school and everything was up. I had graduated in 2014. And then that's right around the shift. And that's kind of where I began losing hope, because I was like, you know, they're really hammering on my guy. And they're applying labels to me, and they've never met me. Like, ever. You know, I've not been to an RTX, never been anywhere near them yet. You know, I wanted to go get something signed. I wanted to go and, you know, gush over how amazing they were. And here they are telling me, a person they don't even know, that I'm a bad person because I have a different political belief than them. Because I choose to follow someone else that they don't like. And I'm not trying to harp on the political things, but this is kind of the start of their downfall, was the politics. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion of where the start was. For me, and what I noticed in the comment section, because I was really close in the comment sections. You can go back, 2013 all the way up to like 2017, and you'll find me in almost every single comment section. Like, you will find me in almost every single one. I was there, and I was talking with everybody, even if they weren't talking to me. Oops, TV went off again. Monitor went off again. But I was there. I was talking to everybody, probably even ones that weren't trying to talk to me, and I just didn't understand how YouTube comment replies work because it didn't mention my name, but oh well. Too late to gripe about that, I guess. But I was there, and you'll find me. You'll see all my comments. So even when they were telling me I was evil, I was a bad guy, I was a misogynist, I was a racist, I was this and I was that, I didn't give up. Because I was still like, there's a chance that maybe this will go away. When the election is done, it'll go away. It'll stop. Everything will be fine. And it didn't stop. Of course it didn't. Because Trump won, and they decided to go full ham, and they started lying out their teeth. They started making things up. They started exaggerating the truth. And, I can go on all day about what they did. Point being, they just outright lied to their community about everything political. And then they started, if you don't support our political beliefs and don't align with it, you can't be a part of our community. And that was kind of alienating a good 50 to 60% of their fan base. Because one, a lot of the people that subscribe to them aren't even American. They have a large American following, yeah, but there's a lot of people in Japan and Germany, the Philippines, India, Africa, all over the world are following these people. So to say that a good chunk of their support wasn't American is kind of an understatement. So they're alienating people who that don't even know their political beliefs or don't understand it at the very least. They understand, oh, you like this person over that person, but they don't understand why. They don't know. And so they really started hammering this in all the way through 2020. They even made death threats. Something that they all should have gone to jail for is making death threats against the president. I've made comments against Biden, and I've made threats against Obama, but I've never sat there and said, oh, give me the gun, I'll shoot him. Never said that. But they sit there and they were saying, oh, I would do it. If someone would be willing to pay me, I would do it. If I see him on the street, I'll beat him up. Things that easily should have gotten them all arrested, right? That was really the start of the downfall, was the politics, because they felt their political opinion outweighed everything. No one was as right as they were. No one was even close. Everyone else was dead wrong. All right. And to me, I think it really hurt their community because it was so divisive. Because go back into that content era from 2015 to 2020, and you'll see comments just flooding the comment section saying, please just stop. Stop with the politics. We're not here for politics. We're not here for your opinion. We're here for jokes. We're here to be made entertained. We're here to laugh. We're here to be, part of your fans and your community. And you're trying to sit there and divide us. You are trying to alienate people. You need to quit. And then I think what made it worse was diversity hiring. Now, I don't have anything against Mika. I have a little bit against Fiona because Fiona sucks. Let's not beat around the bush. She just sucks. She's a bad person. She's a bad content creator. She's just overall bad. Mika's pretty bad too, but to be fair, she was raised as a rich kid, so she's a spoiled rich kid. So you can kind of give her leeway for having a bad attitude about everything. But the diversity hiring is really what got them, because they were hiring people based on looks and sexual orientation, not if they were funny. They were not going after people who were funny, who had no humor. Fiona and Mika were stale as cardboard with nothing to back up their humor, and it was just dry. They didn't mesh like, you know, how Jeremy meshed with Matt and how Trevor and all of them were, you know, everyone kind of had their thing and it all worked together nice. And then you have like Mika and Fiona up here and they're like, you know, we don't know where we fit into that situation. You know, they had their own humor that didn't blend with anybody. And I don't remember a single joke that Fiona or Mika told that made me laugh. I don't think there was a single joke that Lindsay told that made me laugh. I think the one time that Lindsay made me laugh was when they were playing Deceit and she would just immediately say, I'm the monster. And she would actually be the monster. And they'd be like, Lindsay, shut up. And she goes, I'm the monster. I'm going to kill you all. That was funny to me because to them, they really didn't know if she was telling the truth or not. And I thought that was just a really good power play because with Lindsay's, you know, mood and everything Lindsay, that really was a good power play because every time it was Lindsay, if she had been saying it, they wouldn't listen to her and they would sit there and just say, Lindsay, we're not going to kill you because you're giving it away and we don't really think you're the monster. So really good content. Lindsay had a couple laughs, but she was just annoying in a lot of ways too. Trevor didn't really get a lot of laughs out of me either. Like he was okay, but he didn't really get a whole lot of laughs. I like Matt and Jeremy were just kind of, you know, boom, boom. They could go off for hours on each other sitting there making jokes. And I think everything would have been just a freaking riot, you know, and I think they really held a lot of it together for as long as it did. And then, of course, I think where else everything fell apart is not only with the political crap, not only with the diversity hiring crap, not only with dividing their fan base and applying labels to everybody that they didn't even know. I think what really finally was the nail in the coffin that signified you're dead as a company, you will never recover, was the whole Adam Kovic and Ryan incident. Now, if you saw my video about what I thought about the whole Ryan Haywood incident, my opinions have not changed at all. I'm still very firm on what I think of that. I still think how they treated Ryan was wrong, but we're not going to get into that. I don't agree with what he did. I think how over the top everyone went was too far. That's all I'll say. It was too far on a situation that really didn't warrant that kind of reaction. But regardless, such a huge name, Ryan Haywood, being ousted as a manipulator, which, I mean, everyone kind of knew he was, but we always just thought he was the fun kind of psychopath, not the actual kind of psychopath. That hurt. And that is when I left Achievement Hunter as a community member. That's when I stopped watching, is about 6 months to a year after Ryan, whoops, monitor's off again. About a month after, or no, not a month, 6 months to a year after the whole Ryan Haywood incident. I didn't even know about the Adam Kovic thing until about a month and a half later. Because I don't like Funhouse. I don't like them. I don't think they're very funny. I mean, they have a good couple of jokes, but not for me. So when I also heard about the Adam Kovic thing, I was like, what did he do? You know, is he also part of this manipulating scandal, whatever? And then I found out, no, it was just that he had inappropriate relations with his wife or girlfriend or whoever at the time in the office, and he used kind of their equipment as toys, which I understand, but that's also, again, not a huge issue. Like, it's a violation of trust, sure, 100%. But I don't think it was worth ousting him and firing him or making him go into retirement. I really think this is one of those things that was like, we're suspending you for about a month. You need to sit there and consider what it is that you've done. And when you come back, you got to accept some new terms and conditions for your pay, your role in the company. We're going to phase you out a little bit. You're going to be a little less in videos. You know, I think there was more to be done than just get out, you know. It seemed really like at that point after the Ryan Haywood thing, or as the Ryan stuff was going on, it just seemed like they were on full panic mode, or like just out, everyone out. If you did something bad, just get out, 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 everyone out. And it was like they didn't want the flames to get bad, so they just started evacuating the building essentially and leaving anyone that they didn't trust or didn't like, you know, kind of thing, or like someone who did anything bad, remotely bad. I think it was that killed the company. Those two things right there, I think, is what killed the company, was Adam Kovic and Ryan Haywood being a manipulator. Because after that, they really sat there and went on a spiral. They could not find their footing. They could not sit there, and I don't think they realized how much they depended on Ryan for making the jokes. Because Ryan was the one that made the most of the jokes and kept the entertainment going in the videos. Because, you know, everyone wants to sit there and talk about how bad the salt raid was, but Ryan was right. They are entertainers first, personality second. Their goal and their reason for making videos is to be entertaining. And so, yeah, the salt raid could have gone a whole lot different, but Ryan essentially was right. Make the video entertaining. They have all the time in the world to do the raid, but here, right now, in this video, let's go ahead and just make it entertaining for the fans. And it seems to me that Achievement Hunter and RoosterTeeth lost that idea of they're entertainers. They started thinking that they were your dictators, that they told you what to do. You were their slaves. And that's what it felt like. That I wasn't watching entertainers. I wasn't watching people making content for fun anymore. I was watching people who were doing a slog through 9 to 5. They resented their jobs and they resented their fan base because of them having to do those jobs. And so now it was look, you owe me. Okay, so if I tell you you have to think like me, then you better just do it. Right? So it just felt like heart and soul and passion and everything in between just left. Like they had no care in the world for anything they made. And so about 6 months to a year after Ryan left, I considered, okay, they're not funny anymore. You know, I didn't know Ryan was the one that kept the humor going. You know, I didn't know the Mad King was the guy who kept funny, you know. But after watching all of them, you know, going back and watching the videos after Ryan left and trying to get back into Achievement Hunter, I just can't. I've tried so hard to get back into it, and I cannot, for the life of me, watch anything Achievement Hunter. And now, that's just the Achievement Hunter side, okay? That's what killed them. RoosterTeeth died when Bernie Burns left. They died when they fired Joel Heyman. They died when they sat there and kept nagging their fans to sit there and do what they wanted. They overstepped the boundaries between creator and fan. And they decided that they knew our personal lives better than we did, and that they knew what was better for us. And that's not what their job was. So they stopped doing their job and started just dictating to people through videos what to do. And they just lost all the funny. They were out of ideas, and instead of trying to come up with some new funny ideas, they just recycled and rehashed the same thing over and over again. And I think that really is all I can say. The company started dying around 2015 when they started making nothing but political jokes and political jabs and alienating their fans. And the true death, the strike, the death strike that came in and was like, you're done, was the Ryan Haywood, Adam Kovic incident. And then I think also kind of just COVID in general killed them, because when you're making content through Zoom chat kind of thing, or like Discord video, you can't be funny. Because a lot of the funny things that happened at RoosterTeeth and at Achievement Hunter was in the office. You know, there was a lot, like, they were there together, they were happy together. Now being inside their own homes, and doing things from inside their own homes, they weren't friends anymore. They were just co-workers at that point. They didn't get to be friends. They didn't get to go to each other's houses or whatever and say, hey, I'm going to come in here and set up my stuff in your office and we'll play games and we'll do videos in here. No, it was all over like Zoom. I think what they did is they probably used Discord, but either way, it was basically just a Zoom conference with gaming on top. And I think COVID really was the one of those strikes that really came in and just ended it, because they were already weakened from everything else going on. There was the allegations, Vic being fired for allegations that actually ended up coming up as false. The original voice actor for Crow. Yeah, he was accused of inappropriate stuff, and it comes to light that it wasn't even true. That it was all just allegations and it wasn't even true. But they had fired him just because they said one allegation was enough to sit there and blacklist him, even though none of the actual facts of the matter made sense. Instead of going to police, they decided to band together and go through every single company he worked for and report him. Why not the police? If he handled you in such an inappropriate way, that's a police issue. That's not a company issue. You don't go to the companies around the world and say, hey, you had this voice actor, you need to blacklist him because he handled us inappropriately. That's not the way to do it. And as soon as I see people start doing that, I immediately know they're a liar. Because you don't do that. You go to the police first, you file a police report, and then you go to social media and say, I filed a police report. This is now official. We are going to sue him for this, and and we have the evidence that you'll see in court. But going first to all his employers and trying to get him blacklisted told me immediately they were lying. And it comes to find out that they were. I don't know if the thing recorded that, but yeah, they were lying. And on one allegation, they said it was safe enough to fire him. And then when it was proven false, they issued no apology. They didn't rehire him. They didn't back pay him for all the money he lost as the voice actor for Crow. They did nothing. They just basically said, oops, our bad, sorry. That's not how you handle that situation. So, and then not only that, but there was all the behind the scenes allegations that came out against Jeff. Jeff made a public apology. Then the person that made the allegations said, no, you are my boss. You were supposed to be there for me and you failed me and you were a terrible person because of it. Yeah. Once the allegations started coming out that all of them were really bad behind the scenes and what we saw on camera was merely personality, it was a cover. It was a face. It was a front. It made me really realize that they are not a company I felt comfortable supporting anymore. I couldn't laugh at the jokes because I started seeing the cracks. I started seeing behind the scenes. I started knowing what was going on. And I just couldn't laugh anymore. The jokes started not being funny. And I think for a lot of people, that's how it was. The jokes just ran dry because so much came out. How can you laugh when you know the people are verbal abusers, that they abuse other people who are just trying to do their jobs? Like, they're not even the face of the company. They're just doing their jobs, and then you're harassing them, not even in a funny way, but you're just being mean and cruel. I think that's all I can say, is they started their decline with politics, and it ended through COVID and the proof of allegations and their public apologies for it. But no matter what I say, this is my opinion. You can have a completely different opinion, and that is perfectly fine. If you want, you can even leave your opinion in the comment section below. Leave your whole thing of where you think it started and why it ended. I would love to hear it personally. I love reading chat stuff like that, and so I'm actually curious as to what everyone else thinks the start was and what the final nail in the coffin was. But for me, it just feels like they started getting political and they started alienating their fan base. They started losing their numbers. Their charts started going down. Then they started with making those the allegations started coming out. They started losing more numbers, and then COVID hit, and then allegations with that, and they were already in their death spiral, but that just sent it faster. But like everyone knows, Warner Brothers was responsible for the paycheck. They were the ones that had their keys. And Warner Brothers was the one that said, enough's enough. we're locking the doors and no one's getting back inside. We are done with you. We are done with your reckless spending and your inability to make any content that's salvageable. We're done. And really, if you want, you can say that was the final nail in the coffin for Rooster Teeth. Was that Warner Brothers told them you're losing money and we cannot have it. And you got to think about it too, how funny that is. Warner Brothers is huge. They're massive. They could write a check right now for $32 billion and be good for it. If Warner Brothers is saying you're losing too much money for them to be comfortable with, how much is Rooster Teeth really losing? What's the numbers? What is like if I went and got an Excel spreadsheet, what would the numbers be that they were losing? How much are they paying their people? Or I guess in a lot of cases, the lack of payment since the allegations came out that they weren't even being properly paid for their work. But what was the numbers? How could they fudge up so badly that Warner Brothers, who could write a blank check and say, here, go have fun, make me a nice movie. How do you mess that up? How do you get them against you? And I know a lot of people say it's just rumors, but I've seen online Warner Brothers and other people saying, yeah, that it was because of the financial stability of the company was the reason why Warner Brothers decided to cut him off. And to my knowledge, I don't know. I heard rumors that the RT podcast was going to continue. How long? I don't know. I don't know how they would continue that RT podcast without funding, unless they plan on branching off and doing their own thing and doing strictly audio podcasts, no video. Because that'd be the only way I could see to run it cheaply and efficiently, would be to cut video and just do audio. But yeah, that's about it, because I guess really what I could say is I could answer the question of what do I think about it, though? What do I think about the downfall? Honestly, sitting here thinking about it right now, I'm kind of happy that it's happening. I'm like down here, I'm glad that they're finally closing the doors, because I think it could be resentment for how they treated me, or not how they treated me, but how they were acting in a general direction towards me. Like all the labels and all the things they were calling me when I was not even associated, or I wasn't even doing anything wrong. You know, I guess you could say it was like a resentment of like, you hated me and you didn't even know me, so I hate you now. But I don't even really hate them. I wish every one of them the best of luck in the future moving forward. I hope they all get new jobs. I hope they all can continue right where they left off and be successful. But at the same time, I think it's for the best that they close down and they just don't be associated with each other anymore. I think they should all go off on their separate ways and never speak to each other again. Because as much as I hate to see all those friendships ruined because Warner Brothers is closing the doors, I feel like if they spread out and they just get away from each other, they will become less radical extremists in their views. And maybe they will stop trying to overvalue what they think over other people. Maybe this going woke and going broke business will teach them the lesson that your ideas was not what people wanted and did not financially support. Because you could see it in the view counter. Like when you look at the views, you could see around 2014 they were like in the millions. You know, like 1.2 million views or 950,000 views. You know, they had almost 1 million views for every single video they ever uploaded. And then they started getting political, and then like say 2017, they're down to about 800,000, 750,000. You could see the decline, right? And then 2020, they started getting really freaking bad about everything. You can see it in the views again. Now they're down to about 400,000, 500,000. And then last I checked, by about 2023, they were about 15 to 16,000. Very few videos could get above 30,000 views. So they fell off hard. The the biggest giants in entertainment production online, almost bigger than Markiplier, really. Like, Markiplier's just his own guy, but he's got a crew, I guess. But like, when it comes to like a big company, an actual company, they were some of the biggest, and they flopped because they didn't know when to shut up. They didn't know when enough was enough. They didn't know when to just give up the joke. Or I guess they didn't know when to give up their ideals and just make the content. It's kind of like the thing with Michael Jordan and all that, where it was like, shut up and dribble. I think it was like that. It was, you guys are being paid to entertain me. You are the monkeys. I am the circus goer. I am literally throwing the peanuts at you. All right. You are not on the high totem pole here. The viewers are the high totem pole. You are at the bottom of the totem pole in the hierarchy of how this works. My money supports you, not the other way around. And they blew up their egos and their opinions more bloated than what it should have been. And I think it was just a gradual decline from there. I think people just got sick of it. And then, of course, COVID and everything else happened. I think all the people that were sick of it were already gone. And then when they got less funny, other people just dropped off and they just never recovered. I think they lost a lot of respect in that sense. And I think a lot of people were also just put off by how they treated Ryan. You know, not to go back onto that dead horse, but I think a lot of how that played out left a bad taste in people's mouth, because Lindsay, of all people, went far, far above where she should have gone. She went too far, and she violated some major human rights there by not leaving Ryan alone. You know, she wants to sit there and say that Ryan's a monster, but Lindsay was the true monster, because he apologized. He said he was going to try to get better. He was going to leave social media, and she wasn't satisfied. No. He doesn't get to leave social media. Social media makes him leave, was her decision. And she didn't have that choice. That wasn't hers to make. But boy, howdy, did she go off and she did that. And I think that really put a lot of people off, because this was one of those situations where they could have sat there and said, look, we got to let you go. Like, you can't stay with us after this. So you got to go. Like, if it had been about a month or a year with him doing that, I think it would have just been a suspension and then, okay, you learned your lesson. You're chopped from the main crew, but you can be an editor again. I think that would have been the worst outcome if that case. But because it was like 3 years that it had been going on, because the oldest recorded case was in 2016 and he got caught in late 2019. So 3 years, still not even all that bad. But because it had gone on so long, yeah, definitely he needed to go, 100%. I'm not complaining. He needed to go. He needed to be out of the company entirely. But the overreaction, I think, is what really turned a lot of people off, because it showed them just how little everyone means to them. That someone that they just the other day called their best friend, that they were excited to go see every day, immediately, in a split second, gone. Out of their heads, was deemed a monster. And I think it woke a lot of people up. And I think they just really fell hard from there. Because then when COVID hit and they rejumbled up how they were going to sit there and do their videos with like the Discord or Zoom meeting calls, whatever you want to call it, I think it just affected the comedy in general too, because like I said, at that time they were running out of jokes. They really were. They were starting to become really unfunny. And I think enough recycling just finally came through and people were like, this is just a rehash and nothing's funny. They're going after, bottom of the barrel jokes, something super easy, and they keep pounding on that easy joke, nothing funny. And they were going back to games that they had already milked to death, and they were trying that too. And it's just overall, I think it was just poor choices and poor management and a mix of COVID. But you can think what you want. This is just what I think. Like I said, I really didn't even want to make this video because honestly, what more can I say that hasn't already been said? There are people who have made more comprehensive videos than this one. This is me just talking into the camera with the occasional screen blackout. But this is just me talking to you, giving my opinion. This isn't objective facts. This isn't, going over paperwork and looking and reading through it and all that. No. This is just me telling you what I think. Unscripted, of course. I've got no script. Only reason I keep looking over is I just want to make sure that my audio levels isn't too high or going too low. But other than that, I had a script. I knew kind of where I wanted to go with it, but the script was really dark, honestly. I want to say it kind of was really dark. It was mean-spirited. I called them every name in the book, essentially. I called them deadbeats. I called them, just freaking drunk alcoholics. It was like, looking back, I realized that the script was in bad taste, and I didn't want to use it. As much as I wanted to, I figured, as much as they resented me for just who I wanted to support, I still can't resent them in the same way. For them, how they treated me, I still can't hate them to that level that they hated me. So I wanted to do this to be more fair and just say that I don't think they were a terrible company. I think they were just mismanaged, misguided, and they overvalued themselves too much. If they were worth $20, they thought they were worth $1 million, essentially, okay? But that's about it. All I can say, you can come up to your own conclusions. If you have your own conclusions that you'd like to share, put it in the comment section below. I'd love to read it, actually, because this could be a fun little debate thing that we can do, and we can, compare and see, and maybe you have something that's even more valid than I think, and maybe you can, maybe I'll agree with what you think more, because right now, as a person who was a fan of theirs from early 2006, 2005, watching Rooster Teeth, or not Rooster Teeth, but Red versus Blue, all the way up until 2019, late 2020, yeah, it's just, it hurts to say that they're gone, or they're going to be gone. I don't know if the 60 days is done yet, but when they're gone, it is going to hurt. And I am going to very much miss watching the content. And now, granted, I have a lot of their videos downloaded onto my computer. As soon as the whole Ryan Haywood thing went down, I downloaded a bunch of the older videos because I didn't know what ones they were going to take down, because they said everything with Ryan was going to be scrubbed, and I went on a spree. I think I have about 1,000 hours worth of videos downloaded onto my computer right now because I really didn't know what they were going to do. And I got a lot of the videos that starred only Ryan, like Ryan and Jeremy with the Battle Buddies, or just, VR the Champions, because for me, Ryan was my favorite, okay? He was my favorite in the company. So I got all those videos, and I went and downloaded a couple of the RT podcasts too, some of the ones that I remember very fondly and laughed at because they were really good. So, and I downloaded a couple other Rooster Teeth videos as well. I'm not going to say any names of them because I don't want people sitting there saying I'm stealing the content. No, if they were going to delete it, of course I was going to pirate it by just downloading it. And but yeah, when they're gone, I will have these videos to go back and remember. And I don't know if they're going to close down the YouTube pages or not. I don't know what they're going to do. If Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter and Let's Play and all that is going to go offline on YouTube and everything's going to be deleted and archived, or if it's going to stay and the channels are just going to stagnate. I don't know. I don't even know if they're going to rebrand and try to come back as someone else. But yeah, I have those videos just in case, because a lot of it is from prior to 2015, because that was, like I said, 2013 and 2014 was their peak. That was when they were at their top game. And it was also some of the most fun I had watching videos and being a part of the community. And so, of course, that's where I was going to go to download the videos, is from that era, because it was just some of the top of the line content you could get at the time. But I'm done talking. This has already gone on for 50 minutes. I doubt anyone's even going to get to this far, but if you did, thank you very much. I appreciate you watching all the way through and listening to my stupid voice. I hope you all have a great day, And again, if you have a reason why you think Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter failed, leave it down in the comment section below. I would love to read it. My screen just went black again. Congratulations, screen. Screw you, screen. As for you guys watching, you all have a great day, and I will be seeing you in the next one.